Here's the thing that a lot of coaches, and I had some really good coaches and I had some awful coaches. I had some awful coaches that are in the Hall of Fame of coaching. Now, I'm gonna say that again. I had some awful coaches that are Hall of Fame coaches. And just because coaches win a lot of games or coach for 30 years or something like this doesn't necessarily mean they're a good coach. And then I had coaches that had never coached before that had a son that was playing and they filled an assistant spot and they were absolutely wonderful. I would want to play for them in any sport at any time. And I would also, as being a coach, I'd want to coach with them too. Now here's the thing that a lot of coaches do. And my whole life, every coach that I played for did this at some time. Coaches want to get players conditioned. Everybody here has played another sport, had another coach, and conditioning was a factor in that sport. And the coaches thought it was a good idea to condition. Now here's what the thing is with conditioning is. As coaches and teams and players start conditioning, when they start conditioning, they start becoming slower. And then they also have to practice. But their conditioning is never done at 100%. Who's run long distances for conditioning? I have. I've run in high school and college. Before the season started, our conditioning was 3 miles after practice. Do you know what that got us? Shin splints, runner's knee, jumper's knee, and sore backs. Coming into the first game, guess what we were? Slow and tired, and we were 80% healthy. And this is what a lot of coaches do. They get their players conditioned and in shape, so they're 100% in shape. I'm just gonna write IS, in shape, and 80% healthy by the time the contest comes. The competition is here, and I've seen this in soccer, I've seen this in football, basketball, wrestling, track, especially in track and basketball. I've seen it. But here's the thing that we're doing. I want all of you guys to be 100% healthy. 100% healthy. In practice, in games, I want our first priority is you guys being 100% healthy. Do you guys understand that? I care more that you would be healthy than anything else. That's our number one goal. If you have a nagging injury, something's wrong that we're doing wrong. If you're playing another sport, it's because of maybe something they're doing wrong or something you're doing wrong in your life. Or something that you're not doing can be the issue too. And here's a big thing with this generation, and my generation too, and every generation that's probably ever came, that we're not putting this as a factor. Sleep, I'm gonna write because it's a bank. It is, sleep is, what does that say? What's that say? What does it say? Sleep is training. Everybody say that.
Sleep is training.
Sleep is training. Because you cannot get better without recovery. And we grow when we sleep. Everybody say that.
We grow when we sleep.
With the twins, on Thursday I said you're slower. You're slower than you've been in the last 2 months. And every practice, we've done our sprint and our explosive and our shock biometrics. They've gotten faster and they were jumping higher. But on Thursday, they were slower. On Saturday, they were less explosive than they were on Tuesday. So they were probably 80%, trying to go 100%. And they lost in the semifinals. And I thought they could have won if they were 100%. You guys understand that? Here's the concept for today. You should take all these with you. Does everybody have this stuff? Big thing, sleep is training. Our number one goal is being 100% healthy. And in doing that, we want to get faster and jump higher. There's like this reasoning. I say it's a reasoning because some people say it's a theory. Does anybody know what Occam's razor is? Hope I spell this right. That's a razor, right? Occam's razor. Occam doesn't spell his name like that. It's Occam, O-A-C or K-H-A-M. Occam's, William Occam. He was a friar, and he made this theory. Does anybody know what this is? Raise your hand if you know what Occam's. No?
Colson's raising his hand. Colson?
Scratching his head.
Oh.
Do you know what it is? Occam's razor. So he made this theory that the simplest method is usually the best. And it's caused Occam's razor. Do you know what it is? Occam's razor he calls it a razor for cutting off the excess, cutting off the fat. Anything excess, this theory says cut it out. Make it simpler and you're gonna have more gains. And that goes in business, that goes in sports and training. So this is what a lot of coaches wanna do, and we see it on social media all the time. There's all these new training methods. There's all these new exercise, but the truth is the simplest one is usually the best. There's how many people have been coached and their coaches come up with new drills all the time. I had a coach in college who thought he was a genius. Every practice we had a new drill, almost every practice we had a new drill and a new play to learn. It's not that deep. We can get better faster than everybody else doing a few drills and a few exercises. And you know what we're doing? We're doing that. And you know what I noticed yesterday in the tournament? First day I noticed, everybody's ball control was better. Every single player's, from our coaches to our youngest players, every single player's ball control was better. Who played yesterday and their ball control was not better than they've ever played before? Raise your hand if your ball control was not better. Kale's.
Like you're honest, Kale.
And we all have seen Kale's ball control, right? Easy cheesy. So, I noticed everybody's ball control is better. And the number two thing, ball control being number one, number two thing, everyone's serving was better. And that goes all the way from coach to Malachi to Colson to Jackson. Raise your hand if your serving was not better yesterday. Kale again. Here's the deal is, we've been doing ball control every practice and we've been serving every practice. Because those are, you can score points off serving and ball control keeps you in the game. You guys following me?
Yeah.
So do you understand doing the simplest things can reap the biggest benefits? And when you do them consistently, at full focus, with the intention of getting better, we're gonna get better than everybody else a lot faster. And that's what we're doing. So our juniors had better ball control than the Division I college players. And they've been playing 5 years less, most of them. And our serving was not that far behind. So what's my point?
We're on the right path.
We're on the right path. You guys are all, simplicity is what's getting our biggest gains. And that comes down to running 4 sprints to make sure that we get 500 touches in, to just doing jump serves and serve receive for 20 minutes in practice, every practice. And then it comes down, if you're having injuries, doing a little bit of rehab for 5 minutes gets about 80% benefit, okay? I've been doing the rehab. I've had knee issues since I was 12 years old, okay? I've had back issues since I was 12 years old. And I've been doing the rehab. I did it first, and I feel better now than I've ever felt. In the last 20 years. So, today, we're gonna get our touches in. Some of you are gonna do the bulletproof knees. Other people are gonna do the pre-practice, okay? During the pre-practice, it's gonna be selected, and we'll tell you which ones to do. The coaches are gonna tell you specifically what players, which ones to do on there. We're only gonna do 10 out of the 15, okay? And coaches are individually gonna tell you and your partner which ones to do on there, okay? And then that should take about 45 minutes, and then we can play some kings and queens for the last 30 minutes. And if you wanna just sit down and chill, you can do that too if you are exhausted from yesterday, okay? Practice today, let's get our touches in. Let's have a high focus. Everybody should have learned something right now. I want to tell you this because I was thinking about this. I was talking to Julian's dad today, and we talked for like an hour, and we were talking about basketball. And in basketball, there was this old saying: you can't teach tall, and you can't fix stupid. Okay, raise your hand if you're stupid. Okay. So on Thursday we said, hey, let's not try to do genius. Let's just try not to do stupid. And then I watched Lily's game, and they were playing to 15, and they scored 9 points for the other team. 9. I sat there and watched the whole game, and I was like, that's extraordinary. They just scored 9 points out of 15 for the other team. And do you know how many of those 9 points were stupid? I think they were all
They were bad. It was bad.
I think all 9 of them. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, we're up there. It's like a great play. Like, no, they were pretty bad. And I said, hey, just cut those out. And honestly, so my point about being you can't fix stupid is I don't think anybody in here is stupid. Like, I've done some of the dumbest things all of eternity. And I don't think anybody's stupid in here, okay? Moving forward, this weekend, I also think that we cut a lot of stupid things out. Like, I was watching Lily and Morgan play for most of the day yesterday, and they were about 80% less stupid than they were the practice before. True or false? And their points showed. I mean, they only lost to the Division I girls by 2 points, right? Right? I mean, is that right? 11-9? And they had a chance to win. And then I think that they played you 11-9 too, right?
No, it was like 11-6, 7.
Was it? Okay.
It was like one of the first games though, so Lily, they didn't have a whole lot of time
Who's
to
counting?
work stuff out. Yeah.
Who is counting that game?
Me.
Right on. Okay. Julian's dad, he played basketball in college, like I did, and I thought that was kind of funny because we were watching the indoor game, and here's Colin, 6'9", and Chemo standing next to him. I actually posted that, and Chemo's like, I don't know, 6'5'6", or whatever, and it was pretty funny because they were standing up at the net, and right before the tip off or the first serve, and that came into thought. We talked about that. You can't teach tall and you can't fix stupid. We have really good athletes, and we don't have any stupid people in here. So being conscious of, hey, when I'm practicing today and I'm going through the pre-practice, Lily, hold that pre-practice up. That's not the pre-practice. That's the pre-practice. When you're going through those, stupid can come in a lot. Oh, I'm hitting my cut shots. Man, that was a stupid thing. I should have just dropped it over there, but I was trying to do something genius. I was trying to make it look pretty. Don't do that. Be consistent, okay? Because other teams will be stupid and they'll score you a lot of points too. Okay? Good job on focusing. That was an extended talk, but we need to talk more than we need to play today. So let's get our touches in and then keep practice moving. Let's keep it focused at a high level, and let's have fun today. Okay? More relaxed practice, but I want us to be focused moving forward and getting better. Coach, you have anything you want to say?
I do have something I want to say about the Twins yesterday. Actually, I'm sorry, I told you wrong. They actually only made it to 2 games with Liv. Was it? Yeah. But the thing that failed them was their mental game. It wasn't their fundamentals. From conditioning, they were fatigued. So sometimes that can come in different forms. Your body might be tired, and other days your mind might be tired. So it's just something to think about moving forward.
I do want to say something with that because last night, whoever went to the party, we had a wrestling match, and this is what they learned, even though they probably didn't learn it. Is we all need to be aware of how mentally tough we are. Okay, from me to Colson, how far can you go before you mentally break? Does it? I look among you, and I don't think anybody in here, I know, because I've gone to the brink of death, and I can handle it. I am that mentally tough. My wife can she can agree with that. I would ask her, and I bet she would say yes. Okay? Coach, do you know? Coach, do you know? Do you know? Emma, do you know? Do you know how far you could go before you mentally break? And pretty far, okay? Before you broke down and started crying, or you would not be able to compete, or you get tired and you say, I don't want to go anymore. That happens all the time in beach volleyball. That happens in every sport. A player, Reagan, gets tired, their focus goes down, and they're like, I don't want it that bad. It's not worth it. I know the Twins yesterday were so tired that there was a point where they broke mentally and said, I don't want it. I'll let them have it. And everybody in here, every one of you, I've seen it happen. And we don't have, this isn't a sport where we're gonna be like football or a combat sport like fighting, where we're gonna push you. I'm gonna try to push you to your limits of breaking so you know. But everybody in here needs to be conscious of how far can I go, and I can go a little bit further. And my point about them wrestling last night is they wrestled to the point of exhaustion. They exhausted themselves more than I've ever seen Kale, my son, exhaust himself, and to the point where Jackson didn't want anymore. But they got to that point and they looked each other in the eye and they were like, I don't want to go anymore. Neither one of them wanted to go anymore. But the fight had to go on. And they wanted to. But their mind was telling them not to, but their body could still do it. You guys understand that? And they both learned something. Afterwards, it was rewarding to push themselves to that limit. Because I said, Kale, do you want to fight today? Do you want to wrestle? No, I got hurt. Why were you hurt? You can tell him. He said, I was hurt because I was tired. I said, did you get physically hurt? No. Well, how were you hurt? I was so tired it hurt really bad. And I don't want to do it again. And I said, well, why afterwards you were bloody and you and Jackson were both smiling and happier than I've seen you all weekend? He didn't have an answer to that question. What I do is because when we get to that limit and we go a little bit further than we've known we were possibly could go, it's kind of feels good, right? It's like, oh man, who's conditioned or done something so hard and then afterwards you're like, I'm still alive? Man, hey, we did this together. Me and you are closer, right? We fought the fight and we're a little bit tighter. And nobody can take that away from you. So my point is, when we're practicing, when we're sprinting, when you're playing a game, push yourself to that limit and know, man, I just broke. I sat there and I looked at my partner and said, I don't want to go 100% because I hurt. You're not actually hurt, but you're so tired, you're like, they can win. I'm losing my focus, they can win. We all have to up that a notch and keep upping it, right? And then here's the last thing I'm gonna say, is don't let it be your attitude that breaks you. Because a lot of people, when they break, their attitude breaks. And they start blaming. We had a couple people yesterday in the tournament, I'm not gonna say who it was, very negative. I had to deal with it with them and their parents. A couple people in our club, a couple people not in our club. It's not a positive thing. But basically they got tired and their attitude broke and then they lost. And then their attitude got even worse. And then it was everybody else's fault. And that's not a good thing. That's probably the worst thing that you could do. And it shows everybody how small you are. Because it's not like someone's holding a gun to any of our heads while we're playing beach volleyball and trying to abuse us or torture us, and we're breaking on the court, right? Good talk, long talk. Let's break down, get our touches in, okay? I'm gonna have Lily lead us today. Yes. He's ready. Jackson, break this down.
Weigh in forward on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Play forward.